All right, so you get your blood test results back, right? And you're staring at this page. It's just a wall of acronyms and numbers. What on earth does it all mean? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to decode that secret language your blood is speaking.
Yeah, I'm sure you've been there. You get this report, and it's just data. But what's the story behind the data? When your doctor takes that little vial of blood, what are they really hoping to find out?
Okay, so here's a cool way to think about it. Your blood is basically a constant stream of data flowing through your entire body. And a blood test, that's like taking a single snapshot of that stream. It's an incredible report that can tell us so much, from how well your organs are doing to whether you're secretly fighting off an infection.
So let's get into it. Our first mission, if you will, is to play detective. A lot of blood tests are all about hunting for those classic, telltale signs that your body is inflamed or fighting off some kind of infection.
You know, whenever your body goes into defense mode against an injury, a virus, whatever, it doesn't do it quietly. It leaves behind all these little clues in your bloodstream. We call them markers. And certain tests are designed specifically to pick up on those signals and let your doctor know, hey, there's a fight going on in here.
First up is the FBC, or full blood count. Honestly, this is the absolute workhorse of blood tests. It's like taking a census of all your major blood cells. And when we're looking for inflammation, the big giveaway is a jump in your white blood cells or your platelets. You can pretty much think of them as the paramedics and firefighters of your body, rushing to the scene.
Okay, another really important clue is something called C-reactive protein, or CRP for short. Your liver pumps this stuff out as part of an emergency response system. And what's cool about CRP is that it's super sensitive. Its levels shoot up really, really fast when inflammation starts. That makes it perfect for keeping an eye on conditions like inflammatory bowel disease. It doesn't just tell doctors if there's inflammation, it tells them how intense the flare-up is right now.
And get this, it really shows you how connected everything in our body is. Even a liver function test, which sounds like it's only about the liver, can actually find signs of inflammation somewhere else entirely. What they're looking at is a protein called serum albumin. If your albumin levels are low, it could be a hint that there's some long-term inflammation going on, or maybe that you're just not absorbing nutrients properly.
So let's pull all that evidence together. The FBC shows us if the cellular first responders are on the scene. The CRP acts like a super fast alarm system, and the LFT can give us another clue with low albumin. Now, none of these on their own tells the whole story, but when you put them all together, the doctor starts to get a much clearer picture of what's going on inside.
All right, so once we've checked for signs of a fight, what's next? Well, it makes sense to check on the major systems, right? The ones that might be under stress. So let's pop the hood and take a look at your body's most critical engines, your vital organs.
The two big engine checks we're talking about are the liver function tests, the LFTs for your liver, and the urea and electrolytes, or UNEs for your kidneys. I mean, these two organs are just absolutely essential. They're filtering out all the bad stuff, processing waste. They basically keep the whole system running. So the LFTs, they give you this really detailed report card on your liver by measuring different enzymes. The idea is if liver cells are damaged or inflamed, they start to, well, they leak these enzymes into your blood. So if those enzyme levels are high, it's a red flag for doctors. It helps them figure out the liver's overall health and can even help them spot some rare complications that might be tied to other issues. Then you've got the UNE test. This one is all about the kidneys. It's checking for waste products, things like urea and creatinine. See, if your kidneys aren't filtering properly, this stuff starts to build up in your blood. But it does double duty. It also checks your electrolytes, like sodium and potassium, which makes it super useful for checking not just how your kidneys are doing, but also how hydrated you are.
Okay, last but not least, let's talk about the fuel in your tank and the fluids keeping everything running. This final piece of the puzzle is all about checking on your body's essential supplies.
Because it's not just about the big engines, right? Your body needs the right mix of fluids, key minerals, and, of course, cells that can carry oxygen around. And yep, you guessed it, there are specific blood tests to check on all of those levels too.
And look who's back, the full blood count. It turns out the FBC is a multitasker. It's not just for spotting inflammation. By counting your red blood cells and measuring the hemoglobin inside them, and hemoglobin is that super important iron-rich protein that grabs onto oxygen, well, that's how the FBC becomes the #1 test for detecting anemia. That's a condition where your blood just can't carry enough oxygen.
And remember our other multitasker, the UNE test? It's crucial here too. The fact that it can measure electrolytes like sodium and potassium is a game changer when someone's dehydrated, say after a bad bout of diarrhea. It lets doctors keep tabs on these essential mineral salts, which are absolutely key for your nerves and muscles to work right.
And while we're on the topic of minerals, we can't forget magnesium. It's another super important one. Doctors often test it at the same time as potassium and calcium because it's involved in, like, hundreds of different reactions in your body, especially making sure your muscles and nerves are firing correctly.
And this is a perfect example of that domino effect. Let's say you have severe diarrhea. That's domino 1. You lose a ton of fluid, which makes your electrolyte and magnesium levels crash. That's domino 2. And what happens next? Well, that directly messes with your muscle function, which leads to weakness or cramps. It's just a fantastic illustration of how a blood test can draw a straight line from a root cause to the symptom you're actually feeling.
So we've looked at all these individual tests, these little pieces of information. But what happens when we step back and put them all together? Well, that's when you finally see the complete picture.
This is so important to remember. A doctor almost never looks at a single number from one test and makes a call. It just doesn't work that way. Instead, they take the results from the FBC, the CRP, the LFTs, the UNEs, all of them, and they use them like pieces of a giant jigsaw puzzle. And by putting them together, they build a really complete and detailed understanding of your health.
So at the end of the day, every single blood test is a chance to listen to what your body is trying to tell you. It's not just a boring page of numbers. It's a chapter in your own personal health story. And once you start to understand that language, that's the first step to really being an active, informed partner in your own health. So your blood is telling a story. What will you learn from yours?